Recording in progress. Yeah, let's read. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Putalesh Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Chaline. Nevasisha Sunyavari Pashtatara Satarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Yes, some of these things are not so easy to understand, but together it makes it a lot more easier if we're studying this together. So we can help each other to understand, you know. So if any questions come up, anything needs to be clarified, you can please feel free to ask. And we are on page, or here on the computer, it's page 26.
On our book, it's 22.
22, yeah. So Nāmābhāsa, which is interesting, it's the unclarified name. So it's not the pure name, but if we just go back, there was this, last week we read this paragraph here, which glorifies Nāmābhāsa, although it's not pseudonym. It is a very wonderful stage. Yeah, it's said here, this stage is not to be underestimated. And just paraphrasing, yeah, if one is chanting Nāmābhāsa, then they can be free from the influence of malefic planets they attain here. Let's just read this part here. Oh, it's underlined. Let me just read this one paragraph here. It gives us some idea of where we left off last week. The Nāmābhāsa stage is not to be underestimated, for it avows many positive benefits to the jiva and increases his piety. Verily, Nāmābhāsa is one of the jiva's greatest virtues. It offers him more good fortune than religiosity, vows, yoga, sacrifice, and so on put together. Now, by chanting, all his sins are absolved. He is thus liberated from the effects of Kali Yuga. Instead, Kali becomes a well-wishing servitor of the jiva, providing security and equanimity. The miseries inflicted by demons, ghosts, hobgoblins, evil spirits, and malefic planetary influences are easily averted. Even if a jiva is destined for the hellish planets, he attains liberation. All his parabdha karma, sinful reactions of previous lives' activities that are taking effect now, is counteracted. Nāmābhāsa is greater than the results of studying the Vedas, or visiting every pilgrimage place, or of performing every possible altruistic and pious work. So that's the glories of Nāmābhāsa. We have nāmāparādha is the first stage. Next stage is Nāmābhāsa, and then from Nāmābhāsa, Sudhanam. Yeah. So let's, Mother Rajkishore, she had a hand up there. You can begin our reading this evening.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
The four goals offered in Vedas, religiosity, wealth, sense enjoyment, and liberation, are all available from Nāmābhāsa chanting. It is endowed with unimaginable power that can reclaim any living entity. It bestows unlimited joy and elevates even the derelicts to a very exalted stage of realization. Nāmābhāsa offers eternal residence in the spiritual abode of Vaikuntha, especially in the Kali Yuga. This is stated in the scriptures. Nāmābhāsa is four attitudes. The four attitudes of Nāmābhāsa chanting are Sanket, unintentionally; Parihas, in jest or ridicule; Sob, derisively; and Heel, with disregard and neglect. Sanket is of the two kinds. One, when one, though intending to chant Lord Vishnu's name, has a material conception to it. And two, when one has something entirely different than the Lord or his name on his mind, but chants the holy name, being somehow or other reminded of the transcendental sound. The Yavanas eat cows, yet in spite of this, they can attain liberation by uttering haram or an ordinary word in their language, Urdu, where Lord Krishna's name is automatically chanted. The power of holy name is never diminished, even if chanted in Sanket Nāmābhāsa. Chanting in jest, parihas, like Jarasandha did gets one liberated, as though chanting derisively, stob, like Shishupal. Even chanting inattentively and with disregard results in deliverance of the pangs of material existence. Nāmābhāsa chanting can purify anyone. People of low upbringing like Malecha, gross materialist, and lazy persons who can all avail. Lazy persons can all avail of this opportunity to obtain liberation. Śraddhā Nāmābhāsa and Hail Nāmābhāsa. Faithful chanting that is still afflicted by anartha is known as śraddhā Nam. As you yourself have explained, my Lord, the element of real śraddhā, faith, is absent in the four attitudes of Nāmābhāsa chanting, and Sanket chanting is tinged with neglect. Nonetheless, even Hail Nāmābhāsa, chanting with neglect, gives one liberation. What to speak of faithful chanting? Chanting with faith establishes one on the platform of Sambandha Jnana, which results in rati, or attraction for the holy name. Śraddhā Nam clears away anarthas very easily and quickly. Anartha-free Nāmābhāsa becomes Nam. Short of Krishna Prem, every other success is available in Nāmābhāsa. When anarthas are nullified, then Nāmābhāsa is converted to Nam, or Shuddha Nam, the pure name. By pure chanting and by following the rules of sadhana, as instructed by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, one slowly but surely acquires Krishna Prem, love of Godhead. But Nāmābhāsa chanting can never give Krishna Prem.
Okay, perhaps we'll just pause there. So this description here, these four attitudes of Nāmābhāsa, this is actually a verse from the Śrīmad Bhagavatam in the Ajamul Kanda, because the glories of the holy name are spoken there. Because as we read, or we have read, that Ajamul was chanting in Nāmābhāsa. So then it's Sanketya Padhaschamba Stoba Mahilana Eva Vikunta Namakahanan Asheshaga Vidang Vidu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Haridas Thakur, they are speaking about that verse here and these four aspects of Nāmābhāsa. Any questions on this? So although it's glorified, it doesn't give you Krishna Prema. So we shouldn't forget that. It can give you, it seems like, everything else, but it doesn't give you the goal of life, actually.
So we have to get out of Nāmābhāsa into the pure chanting.
Yes, yes. This was a conversation with Haridas Thakur. It's there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forget his name, but we just heard it recently in the class, where Haridas Thakur was making this point that actually, even before one chants the pure name, just like the sun, when it rises, first you see the rays. So just the rays of the name, not the complete sun, which is pure name, but just in Nāmābhāsa, one can get liberation. And one man began to, if anyone remembers his name, you can tell me. One man began to ridicule Haridas Thakur for such a such a statement. For him, the ultimate achievement, the ultimate human achievement is moksha. Haridas Thakur was saying moksha comes as a side benefit. It's just a side benefit of chanting the holy name. It's not the actual real fruit of chanting. So this man took issue with that. and he spoke very derisively about Haridas Thakur. And as we know, that offense was made, and it goes on to describe how he caught leprosy. I think we described that in our early readings. Yeah. Yeah, so, and then let's see how it moves. How does, short of Krishna Prema, every other success is available in Nāmābhāsa. So when anatas are nullified, then Nāmābhāsa is converted to Nam or Sudhanam. Yeah. So that will only take place if one is chanting in the association of devotees. Yeah. So if someone is blessed with the association of devotees, and they continue in the process of devotional service, a part of which is anartha nivritti. So for anartha nivritti to happen, there has to be sadhu sangha. You have to have faith in the process, then you associate with devotees, then they engage in bhajan, and then there's anartha nivritti. Yeah. And then the other stages, nishtha, ruchi, shakti, then bhava, and prema. So here it gives a shortcut. Nāmābhāsa is converted just by, when anatas are nullified, then Nāmābhāsa is converted to Sudhanam. Yeah. So Sudhanam is when everything becomes revealed. Krishna's name, fame, qualities, and pastimes. Yeah. So
Just keep chanting.
more or less, yeah. Just keep chanting the association of devotees.
With the association of the devotees, yes. Chanting and hearing.
But chanting with attention as well. We have to, as we know, there's 10 offenses to be avoided in chanting, and that Haridas Thakur will be speaking about. So
what about, out in India, I've seen women living in the village. They can't come to the center because his mother-in-law or husband is not favorable. But they are chanting and they seem to be quite progressed.
Yeah, I mean, you can,
what happens
yeah.
there? They don't have devotee association.
Yeah, well, that's the glories of the holy name. Yeah, if one is sincere, if one is sincere, then the holy name can give them grace and mercy. Although to actually go back to Godhead, they will have to take initiation at some point.
Yeah, I
take
must
shelter
admit,
from the Guru.
I have a sister-in-law. Remember, I've said that before. She's
yes.
I got her Gonitai. I mean, I brought Gonitai for her, and she looks after Gonitai, and she chants 16 rounds. But yeah, she's been chanting for so many years since she was with me. But it's not going anywhere. Yes, she does it. She serves Gonitai, bathes them once a week like me, and then offers and chants her rounds. But you can see there is, because of no association, she doesn't really make any progress, really.
Yeah, so like she's not really, she's probably doing it, it probably makes one sense. She feels good, she's doing a pious activity.
Pious activities, that's it.
Yeah, but she might not be aware or aspiring for the different stages of devotion.
Yeah.
Probably not aware of the glories of Krishna Prema or Bhava, things like that. So again, so it's good. It's good. It's good. It's better than someone who's not chanting. Yes. So there's a question there.
I have a god sister. Her husband is an alcoholic, and she was not allowed to go. But because of the neighbors, she found out about Krishna. She started chanting.
Yeah.
And my Guru Maharaj had to go around to the neighbors, and she came there, and Guru Maharaj gave her initiation. And she's chanting. She hasn't got nobody's association because the alcoholic guy is a bit of a problem. But she's quite advanced compared to being completely alone.
Yeah. So there you go.
Initiation, association, the mercy of the Guru.
Yeah. So she's following instructions she's following instructions of the spiritual master.
No fire sacrifice, because if she did a fire sacrifice, her husband would find out. So it's just simple initiation, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mercy of purity, can take you any.
Yeah, so in essence, the the holy name can act, and it's not dependent even on initiation. There's quite a sub that is spoken of in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They're proper quotes from Jiva Goswami in that regard. So why do we take initiation, etc.? Why not just chant the holy name? And he mentions there because Jiva Goswami explains in the Sandarbhas that actually we are seeing that many people who come forward for initiation or for the practicing Krishna consciousness, they are not qualified. So therefore we engage them in acts of deity, then we engage them in deity worship, because that can help to purify them, actually bring them to mode of goodness. Yeah. So these things, so the holy name is not dependent on it, but as we mentioned last week, I think, we are dependent upon it. So by chanting the holy name, by taking diksha, we get blessings, we're connected up to the parampara. And then that chanting can really have effect. So for most, that is needed, especially the association devotees is needed. But there's a circumstance where one might not be able to associate with devotees. So therefore, the holy name, if one is sincere, will give one shelter and protection.
You know this paragraph about the one who Yavanas who can eat cows, the uttering haram.
Yeah.
They get liberation, just like you're saying, the holy name, you know, it's so beneficial.
Yeah, it's almost inconceivable how what it does. It says it here in Shastra. That's what it's described as. I mean, the holy name is the holy name. So even haram.
Yeah.
It has its effect. Even though one is, it says the two aspects of Sanketa. One is they're chanting the name of Vishnu, but they have a material concept of it. One has something entirely different than the Lord or his name on his mind. That was Ajamil. But chants the holy name somehow or another, reminded or turns it into sound. So, yeah, can attain liberation. Yeah, it's quite a deep topic. I wonder if that's just if they utter it once, but I think that it can open up the gates to liberation, especially, well, if they die and they utter haram, then they will attain some type of liberation. Then they won't go back to Goloka Vrindavan.
No.
But they'll attain some type of liberation. Just like Ajamil didn't go back to Godhead, he had to take up the process of devotional service.
So we're so fortunate to have this holy name, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I don't know whether this is a good question.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Prabhu, if you, I don't know how to ask you, because it is so, Sadhu Sangha and holy name, if you keep both, because even I was also thinking about what Kishore Mataji said about, because I know like two very young devotees in Belarus. They don't have anything. It's like they are just two brothers. Somehow they got connected to me, and he was asking me, I want English books. They are really crazy reading Bhagavatam, really want to read and chanting 16 rounds.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking what Mother said. If you think holy name or sadhu sangha, what is? I can't ask this question actually. What is what does better? You know, how can I ask? Because I can't leave devotees, and how can leave?
Well, in one sense, no one gets the holy name unless they have sadhu sangha. And even if that sadhu sangha is only for a moment.
Yeah.
Lava matra, even if it's like just for a moment, but they take up the chanting given to them or inspired by a devotee. So for instance, these two persons you mentioned are obviously being inspired by yourself
Yeah.
And so they've taken up. So but it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for a devotee. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you.
No, no, not for me. Somebody, Prabhu.
Or someone they met,
Yeah.
like Raj Kishore. But that person was blessed to actually have the association with Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, who actually gave her blessings to actually chant the holy name. Now it does happen sometimes. Haridas Thakur himself is an example of spontaneously chanting the holy name. As far as I know, that came about spontaneously. As far as I know, it might give some history here, but he didn't. He didn't. He hadn't taken initiation or shelter of a devotee at that point. He was just simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. Later, as I understand, I think we took shelter of Advaita Charya. So, yeah, without devotees, there will be without Prabhupada, none of us will be chanting the holy name. It's very highly unlikely.
Prabhu, I was not saying at the beginning, I'm saying like every day we have to have sadhu sangha, of course. Otherwise we'll be lost if you're not having a class like that. So this is sadhu sangha. But how they, without anything, on their own, they want to do everything. Is it the holy name is inspiring them?
Well, it's just the Lord within the heart. There's a purport in the Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada speaks that even if one is unintelligent enough or for some reason doesn't take shelter of a spiritual master, if they are sincere, now sincere means they are sincere in their desire to obtain Krishna. But if they're for one reason or another, they're unable to associate with devotees, Krishna will reveal to them himself, or Krishna will give them, through the holy name.
Oh, yeah.
But if they are sincere.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. All right, perhaps let's read a bit more. There's some more readers. Mabula Bangalataka, you like to read? I think, did I?
Yes, where do I start?
I bow down.
Right, yeah, thank you. I bow down to that fortunate soul who has freed himself from committing nāmāparādha, offenses against the holy name in the Nāmābhāsa stage. This Nāmābhāsa stage is far beyond knowledge and fruitive work, and if one's śraddhā is furthermore rooted in rati or attraction and is offenseless as well, then gradually it will lead to the pure name. Nāmābhāsa, Vaishnavabhāsa, śraddhābhāsa, ratiabhāsa, premabhāsa, bhaktiabhāsa, etc. The suffix abhas has a special meaning and is of versatile application. Let us discuss this now. Factually, abhas, faint or indistinct presence, is of two sorts: swarup abhas and pratibimba abhas. Swarupa abhas is the partial infiltration of the full brilliance. For example, on a cloudy day, the light of the sun is present, but the full brilliance of the sun is shaded by the clouds. Now, in its first stage of appearance, Nāmābhāsa is shadowy. Still, it is of immense benefit to humanity. It is known as Chaya Nāmābhāsa, or the faint shadowy name. The way to the shadowy name is opened by Chaya, śraddhā abhas, or the faint shadow of śraddhā, faith. On the other hand, pratibimba abhas reflects a distorted image of the real object, just as sunlight is misrepresented when reflected off the surface of water. This distorted reflection allows only inaccurate perception of the original source of light. Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa appears when the rays of the holy name reflect off the lake of Mayavadi thought, bequeathing sthāyi mukti upon the Mayavadis who chant it. However, this will fail to generate the quintessence of chanting Krishna Prem. Indeed, this Nāmābhāsa is a major nāmāparādha. Therefore, it cannot really be counted as a Nāmābhāsa at all. Chaya Nāmābhāsa or Swarupa Nāmābhāsa is the real Nāmābhāsa and is subdivided into 4 categories, as described above. The scriptures, while praising Nāmābhāsa, profusely condemn Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa. Chaya Nāmābhāsa is had as a result of chanting the holy name with an artha is born of ignorance. But the chanting of the holy name with an artha is nurtured by wicked and perverted knowledge, produces Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa, and is considered a terrible obstacle to devotional service with a heinous offense.
Okay, perhaps switches. You can read some more, but let's just pause there. That's quite technical. Let's just try and follow this. So abhas, as we know from a Sudabhakti means a shadow. Nāmābhāsa. It's not the real thing. Yeah. So yeah, and then it's quoted different use of the word bas, Nāmābhāsa, Vaishnava bas, which means is one's not a real Vaishnava. It's a shadow of a Vaishnava. Śraddhā bas. It's a shadow of actual śraddhā, and the same with rati. Or so rati means attraction. Yeah. So then that's divided into two sorts. So a bus, I'm just basically going over it again, but a bit more slower, so we can perhaps follow what's being explained. So a bus, there's faint or indistinct. So that is called Surup, bus, and Pratibimba. Now, Surup is okay. Surup abhas, which is the partial full brilliance of the name. It's that's what gives benefit. The faint shadowy. So then Pratibimba. So this is the chanted by a Mayavadi. Is that correct? Is that what I understood correct? Yeah.
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 So an inaccurate. So they chant the holy name, but for them, they are Krishna. Krishna is illusion.
Yes.
Krishna is Maya. Krishna's pastimes. But they may chant the holy name. So their mentality is so corrupt. Yeah. They're so corrupt that they get no actual benefit.
But how can that be a Nāmābhāsa, like shadow of the holy name? I mean, I thought you have to be quite advanced in your devotional service to even reach Nāmābhāsa. So how come if they're so offensive, they get to that stage?
Well, Nāmābhāsa is available to most devotees. Nāmābhāsa means you're just trying to be attentive. And you have not yet, for us, if you're trying to be attentive, that's actually Nāmābhāsa. So that's if you're avoiding the 10 offenses, okay. And if to avoid the 10 offenses means you're endeavoring to chant with attention. That's Nāmābhāsa. Does that help?
Yeah, but still, these Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa devotees, they're not actually devotees.
No.
They are Mayavadi.
That's it, yeah. So therefore, Pratibimba, indeed, this Nāmābhāsa is a nāmāparādha. So actually, then it mentions, actually, you can't really call it Nāmābhāsa.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not. It's not really the name at all. It's like Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about that. It's in the light of it's just words are coming out, but it's not actually the name itself. Yeah. So in other words, so they're corrupt. So their heart, their mind is so corrupt that they're actually offensive in their understanding of Krishna. Yeah. So it cannot actually, it can't be called, interesting said, actually, therefore it cannot really be counted as Nāmābhāsa at all. It's actually nāmāparādha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the real one is what was mentioned, is Chaya Nāmābhāsa, which is a faint or distinct presence. So there's two there, Chaya, also known as Surup Nāmābhāsa, and Pratibimba. Pratibimba is more or less nāmāparādha. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here, while scriptures praise Nāmābhāsa, it condemns pratibimba. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Perverted knowledge produces, so it's based on perverted knowledge. So it calls it's actually an obstacle.
Pratibimba means reflection. Like if we stand in front of a mirror, our reflection is called pratibimba.
Yeah, now this was spoken of, we spoke about this as in Sutta Bhakti Chintamani, as in faith. So there's two things, there's a reflection and there's a shadow. Now a reflection is not connected, but a shadow is connected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shadow is connected. So therefore, like we spoke of this in Sutta Bhakti Chintamani when we're speaking about faith. So pratibimba śraddhā or sarup, pratibimba, shadowy or reflection or shadowy faith. Yeah, a reflective shadow, a reflective semblance of devotion. Yeah, a shadowy semblance of devotion. So a reflective semblance of devotion is that which might be in the hearts of a Mayavadi. And that cannot be purified. They have to completely give up, drop all their conceptions, all their misconceptions. But a shadowy reflection of faith, it's more innocent. So for instance, someone who's heard that everything is one, but they haven't taken it to heart. So, but when they hear the right thing, that we are parts and parcels of Krishna, separated parts, then they quite easily give it up. They haven't taken Mayavad philosophy to heart. They've only innocently taken it on. So that's called a shadowy semblance of faith. So that can be transformed to actually pure faith. But the faith of the Mayavadis, which is considered a reflection, cannot be purified. They have to completely drop their whole conception, their misconception. So it's interesting because the same words are used in conjunction with the holy name. Did you follow that? Yes.
Oh, yes, I got that a bit.
Yeah. So the same words, yeah. Thank you, Maharaj Kishore, for these two words, reflection. And so pratibimba means reflection, yeah? The other one means a shadow. So a reflection is not connected to the form. So the shadow is. So that can be purified. So that type of holy name can be purified in association of devotees. Yeah. You can carry on reading if you want, Mabula. You just read a couple of paragraphs there. We can continue. A Vaishnava bus.
Thanks.
Oh,
Yeah, a Vaishnava bus.
oh, sorry.
There's some question there.
Prabhu,
Yes.
to you, can I please ask this one? How
Yes.
chanting in Pratibamba Nāmābhāsa increases one's offenses?
Yes. That's what it said. If one carries on, yeah, if one is, one has this, you could say corrupted, offensive mentality towards Krishna. Krishna doesn't exist. His pastime is all illusion. It's all part of the material world.
Prabhu, can I just
That's
please
offensive.
something in between? Prabhu, you're saying nobody will start chanting if they don't have some faith in the Lord, isn't it?
No, some people. No, this is some people will chant in this. What is it? We're describing this in these four aspects. Even if one chants unintentionally, or in jest, or derisively, or hela,
Okay.
the holy name is so glorious and magnificent that it will have its effect on that person, because these four aspects, it's not nāmāparādha. It's not nāmāparādha. They are
Okay.
not deliberately, for instance, chanting the holy name to be free of sins. It's like Ajamil he wasn't like, yeah, great, if I name my son Narayan, then I can commit all sinful activities, but I'll be chanting his name, so I'll be free from those sinful activities. No, that would be aparādha. But he just was innocent. He just didn't know. He didn't know. So that's Nāmābhāsa. That's one of the aspects of Nāmābhāsa. Like we meet people on the street who can see the Harinam and they call out Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, you know.
Yeah.
Hela, those Hare Krishnas are lazy. They don't do anything. Why don't they get a job?
Yeah, Prabhu, that is clear. But how come Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa increase one's offenses?
Because it's because they're corrupt. They actually wish ill to Krishna. They actually say Krishna has no face, he has no body, he has no pastimes. That's offensive.
But I don't. I just wanted to say, Prabhu, such people, they won't take up to holy name chanting. They will be just talking. They will be saying, "I read Bhagavad Gita. No problem. I know everything."
No, some of them will. Some of them, because kirtan is because say in India at least, it's kirtan or japa or kirtan. It's widely accepted by many different spiritual paths in India, but their concept of what it leads to and what it is much different from ours. So some Mayavadis worship deities of Krishna.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they chant the holy name. They may chant the holy name, but they do it as a means that they can so-called become God. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is an obstacle, as it says here. I'm just reading here. It's a terrible obstacle. This pratibimba, and it's a heinous offense. So you could say isn't it, that the holy name has its boundaries. There we say it. But here it's if you're kind of really a staunch Mayavadi and you're trying to deny Krishna, his form, his name, his pastimes, etc., then you're not going to. Then the holy name is gonna. You're not going to get the results of the holy name. You're going to get the opposite. But if you're innocent and you just don't know, and you're just chanting again for jest or derisively or for musical entertainment, then the holy name will have its effect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
So you can continue Mabhalavanga if you like. A Vaishnava Avash.
A Vaishnava Bas chanter may not be recognized as a pure Vaishnava, but still should be respected as a neophyte devotee, as long as he is not contaminated by the Mayavadi philosophy. He can easily become elevated by contact with saintly persons. That elevated Vaishnavas consider such neophytes to be innocent and so shower mercy on them. They must not be ignored and avoided like the agnostic Mayavadis. The pure devotees will resuscitate the small spark of devotion in them, encourage their propensity to worship the deity, and gradually give them sambandha gyan to establish them in devotional service of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. But if they exhibit strong inclinations to incorrigible Mayavadi views, then they must be avoided. When a person sees pure, firm faith in others, he is impressed. Thus, śraddhā, or the beginning of faith, is invoked in him. He desires elevation and so chants constantly, though still with strong attachments to sense pleasures and the desire for liberation. His śraddhā is not real, but has the symptoms of śraddhā. This is defined in the scriptures as pratibimba śraddhā. Hence, chanting with pratibimba śraddhā results in pratibimba Nāmābhāsa. And if by circumstances this sort of Nāmābhāsa becomes aberrated by Mayavadi philosophy, then the chanter begins to think that the perfect and transcendental name of the Lord is mundane and imperfect, requiring to be perfected by chanting with knowledge. This offense obliterates his little bit of genuine śraddhā. I'll go on.
Maybe we can stop there if we want. Yeah,
Who wants to read?
yeah, I tend to think it looks like Shivaram Swami Maharaj has taken a lot of it. It seems very much to correlate with devotion, the subject of pratibimba devotion, or no, faith. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, any questions on that? Let me just read this sentence again, this one here. But if by circumstances this sort of Nāmābhāsa becomes aberrated by Mayavad philosophy, so then the chanter begins to think that the perfect and transient name of the Lord is mundane and imperfect, required to be perfected by chanting with knowledge. This offense obliterates his little bit of genuine śraddhā. Okay, so if someone is chanting śraddhā, but they become contaminated with conceptions of Mayavad, then whatever faith they had will actually go. Anyway, let's read some more. Sejal Mother, you'd like to read? I think we're here. Are you there, Mother Sejal? You're muted.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, I'll read. So we're starting off. Just wait.
Here, Chaya Nāmābhāsa.
Nāmābhāsa arises simply from ignorance. It is rooted in Hridaya Durlabhyam, or weakness of the heart. It is a type of anartha, but all these faults are rectified by chanting the holy name. However, chanting in Pratibimba Nāmābhāsa increases one's offenses. According to the Mayavadis, Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes are all illusory, false, temporary, and contaminated. They similarly misunderstand prema, or spiritual love, to be merely evanescent. Mayavadi philosophy characteristically contradicts the devotional path of bhakti at every turn. Therefore, Mayavadis are biggest offenders. The Mayavadi's chanting is not real chanting. The sound of the Lord's name may emanate from his mouth, but is bereft of the potency of the Lord. His chanting is filled with the yearning of sense pleasure and liberation, and all the time he thinks the Lord's name is material. Because he tries to cheat, his chanting results in unrelenting misery for himself. If by good fortune the Mayavadi relinquishes the desire for sense gratification and liberation and begins to chant, thinking himself a servant of Krishna, he becomes exonerated from his offenses and spiritual aberrations. He then takes shelter of the holy name and repents. This opens the way to hear from the associate with pure devotees. At this time, his chanting leads him to comprehend Sambandha Jnana. He must chant while continuously shedding tears of contrition. Only then he invoke the mercy of the holy name. The Mayavadi considers both the transcendental form of the Lord Krishna and the Jiva's inherent constitutional position as the Lord's eternal servitor to be transient and imaginary. This Mayavadi philosophy is a grievous nāmāparādha. Nāmābhāsa is truly a wish-fulfilling tree, for it even offers to the Mayavadis the sayujya liberation so desired by them. Because the name is omnipotent, it offers mukti abhas, or a semblance of liberation in the pratibimba Nāmābhāsa stage. Amongst the 5 types of liberation, sayujya, becoming one with God, is considered abhas, a mere hint of liberation. Material suffering is indeed terminated by sayujya, but certain spiritual doom follows. The Mayavadis captivated by Maya find Sayujya pleasurable, but it is only a ghost of actual happiness. They forever forfeit transcendental existence, knowledge, happiness, and devotional service, because Sayujya Mukti obfuscates their remembrance of Krishna, where he is the question of eternal bliss with the eternal aspects of bhakti and prema is doubted. If the Chaya Nāmābhāsa chapter is not contaminated by atheistic concept, then he has a good chance. His position is that he is ignorant about the potency of the holy name, but it is the inherent nature of the holy name to impregnate that knowledge into the chanter's heart. For example, the sun may not be visible when the sky is cloudy, but once the clouds are dispersed, the sun shines through it full glory. The chanter gains great benefit from taking shelter of the bona fide spiritual master, and in a short time is able to attain pure
She's gone.
Gone. She's,
She muted herself.
So sorry.
yeah.
My reading from the phone. Sorry about that. Okay. Diligently avoid the association of Mayavadis. Please serve those who are attached to chanting purely. O Lord Chaitanya, this is your injunction, and whoever follows it is very fortunate. Those who disregard and disobey this instruction are wretches who will suffer eternally. Oh my Lord, please bless me so I can reject bad association and take shelter at your lotus feet. There is no other way. One who is blessed with love and devotion and takes pleasure in serving Srila Haridas Thakur's lotus feet will find this book Harinam Chintamani as valuable as life itself.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so more elaboration then on the Pratibimba and those who are chanting in this mentality, Mayavadi mentality. But did anyone notice something? Seemed something positive there? It seemed like we was reading, it's all definitely negative. Something surprised me when I was hearing it. That they do obtain.
It says here, only then he must.
Yeah, they have to repent if they're going to if they want the real name. They have to, really sincerely repent their offensive mentality. But just back here, they're on this page 29 on the computer. They actually, it says, for Nāmābhāsa is truly a wish-fulfilling tree, for it even offers Mayavadi the Sayujya liberation, so desired by them. So Sayujya is something that we definitely do not want, we do not aspire for. It's oneness, because there's no devotion there. But it offers Mayavadis a semblance of liberation. Yeah. But it mentions here, but certain spiritual doom follows.
Yeah.
So really it's something, but not much. Yeah. So then so any questions from this?
Even Chaya Nāmābhāsa also, it says, chanter gives a great benefit from taking shelter of spirit. It comes, a sun may not be visible when the sky is cloudy, but once the clouds are dispersed.
That was a very nice description, isn't it? Very nice description. I especially like this sentence, that if someone is ignorant, in other words, they take to chanting, but they're not fully in knowledge about what they're doing, about the potency of the holy name. They haven't read Harinam Chintamani. They haven't gone to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Just like we was given examples, isn't it? Devoted persons we know who actually chant. But here it said what's actually happens, that by the inherent nature of the holy name, impregnates knowledge into the chanter's heart. Yeah, so that could be an answer to that question we brought up earlier, as well, for those who may not be systematically educated in the science of Krishna consciousness, but with some level of faith, they've taken to the chanting of the holy name. So the chanting becomes their guru, the chanting becomes their guide. Yeah. For example, the sun may or may not be visible. Yeah. And then it says here, the chanter gains great benefit from taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Right, so that part, that has to be there at some point. And in a short time is able to attain pure name and Krishna prema. So from that, perhaps we can say this sentence here.
Yes, Prabhu, yeah.
By taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Then in a short time they contain pure name and Krishna prema.
Yeah.
Then there's a warning to avoid Mayavadis.
That last paragraph is really good.
This one here?
Yeah, that we should, anybody chanting purely, we should serve them.
Yeah, please serve those who are attached to chanting purely. Oh Lord Chaitanya, this is your injunction.
Prabhu, I have a question, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, I know many chant, they attend Bhagavad Gita classes, Bhagavatam and everything. Still, for some reason, they have not accepted a spiritual master. Some are not young even. And why is that, Prabhu?
I wish I could say. It depends on them individually. There might be many things going on. Who is to tell? You know, it's said there was that by the mercy of Krishna. No, by the mercy of Krishna, one gets a spiritual master.
Spiritual
By the
master.
mercy of spiritual master, one attains Krishna.
Yeah. So they are doing very religiously everything.
Just shower.
Sorry?
Just shower. Getting rid of anarthas and all that.
Yeah, for some it might not happen in one life. For some it might, perhaps their path is a bit more slower. Everyone's moving at different, I guess everyone's moving forward at different paces. For some, it may be very slow. They may be attending to some degree the Krishna Katha, but it's still maintaining attachment to the material world. They're still maintaining, yeah, still may be engaged in sense gratification and not willing or desiring to give it up. So therefore, also it may be like, just like if you're trying to start a fire, if the wood is wet, it's just going to cause smoke. So if someone is attending pravachan, attending class, or if they're not actually drying up, say, their life, if they're actually engaging in sense gratification activities, in a sinful activities, then the effect is not going to be there. It's just like trying to start a fire with a wet wood.
Prabhu, they are not, sorry to interrupt, Prabhu, but they are not doing any sinful activities, nothing. They not only attend classes, they literally study. They literally study, you know. I'm sometimes wondering why.
Then you're, well, difficult to say individually, but then you're going to have to be patient with them. Their path might be slow. I mean, I know devotees who took initiation after 10 years or like 12 years.
Yeah, of course.
For some, it's like that. For some, for various reasons, that might be the situation.
Or they could be practicing 3 principles and let people know that they are practicing 4, but secretly.
No, Mataji, they are very pure. They are
So
just
then,
like devotees.
So then,
can they be like complacent with whatever they're doing, like happy with what they're doing? You know,
Yeah, I think
like, you know, we're piety, you know, are we doing, you know, like we've always said when people come to the temple and they're rolling puris and things like that, why are they not going up to the stage of,
but at least they are not chanting 16 rounds. The people who are coming and doing puris, they may not.
I was telling you about my sister-in-law who chants 16 rounds.
No, yeah, Mataji, yeah. But these devotees are really, and when you say, yeah, it will happen, it will happen. That's how they say.
Well, then do you have to be patient with them? They have to keep giving them your association. And if they, yeah, you have to be patient with them. You cannot force them to take initiation.
Definitely.
I have the same thing. I have Shamila's sister. One is initiated by Radhanath Maharaj. The other ones are come, you know, do really well. They're all Krishna conscious, chanting 16 rounds for years and years, but they don't want to take initiation.
Yeah. So they're maintaining some independence,
Yeah.
maintaining some maintaining some material desires.
Who
So
was that devotee who chanted this chariot, Prabhupada chariot thing, like Rath Yatra, the one who made the picture on,
Jayanand.
yeah,
Jayanand Prabhu.
yeah. So they are devotees from that age. If he was around, he would have, the brother-in-law would have taken the initiation. But because he's not there, he doesn't want to take from anybody else. So it's like that, you know, sometimes.
Wow, okay.
anyway, I don't know if they help, but you should be patient with them, especially if they are following regulative principles, they are engaging in devotional service, they are coming to the temple. Then be a friend to them and just encourage them.
Yeah, because like they may have not found a guru that
They
inspires
really is.
Please.
There
Yeah.
might be another reason as well. Someone might not have struck them in the heart.
Yeah.
They might not have yet. There might be a reason.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's pause there for today. Thank you, everyone. So we finished this chapter, and so next week we're going to begin looking at the 10 offenses.
God, criticizing saintly people. Oh no.
Yeah.
Persons.
So this is one of the offenses. So as I said, the major part of this book is about the 10 offenses, and then at the end it speaks about pseudonym and the effects of that. So and it'd be good to look at the 10 offenses in detail. And here, as we mentioned yesterday, it will give the what to do to overcome each of these 10 offenses. Yeah.
We should be very careful. If anybody's chanting the holy name, be careful not to disturb them
Yeah.
in any way or form. Even if we think we are right and they're wrong, forget it. Let Krishna deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, we should not. Otherwise we'll be carry on with our next life, coming back to sort the same things out again. Yeah.
So we can speak about this next week. So it'll be good discussion next week. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.